and welcome to MediaWhorz. Today we'll...
Wait. What?
Huh?
No, I'm not ready. I don't want to go. Before I leave, I just want to say...
Damn it, Jimmy! You got pulled out of the time stream! This is what you get for trying to take on a Dalek with a pocket knife!
Hey, to be fair, he did pretty well. If you remember, he was able to take out one of the eye stalks.
Well, we can't do the review without him around.
Why not?
Well, he went through the trouble of watching the material with us. It wouldn't be fair to review it without him.
Why don't we do some reviews of a couple TV shows while Caveman tries to think of a way to bring him back?
Do I have to?
That'll work. Hello again, and welcome to MediaWhorz. Today we'll be looking at the first season of the revived British sci-fi series, Doctor Who, which began airing in 2005 and starred Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor and Billie Piper as Rose Tyler. So, let's reverse the polarity of the neutron flow as I throw this to the round table. Now, for those who are unaware, Doctor Who is a long-running program that focuses around an alien known simply as the Doctor.
Actually, it's both the longest-running and most popular sci-fi series in history.
That doesn't surprise me. It started back in 1963.
True, though it did get cancelled in '89. Like Kora said, they revived it in 2005, and that is what we're looking at today.
Well, once again, in case someone isn't familiar with the premise of this series, the Doctor is an alien who travels through space and time in a machine called a TARDIS, which is disguised as a police call box.
He is what you would call a Time Lord, which is an alien race that developed time travel and essentially govern the time stream.
It's amazing how pretentious you made the term Time Lord sound. Anyway, the reason that I've wanted to focus on this first is due to the obvious issue that came up early in the series. The actor who played the Doctor was in ill health and they needed someone new to play the Doctor. They explained this as being a form of regeneration that occurs when he is mortally wounded, in which all of the cells in his body die and he is reborn again as someone new with a new appearance and similar but different personality.
I might have two heads, or no head. Imagine me with no head. And don't say that's an improvement. But it's a bit dodgy, this process.
This is one of the few times a retcon has helped improve the series.
And as a relative newcomer to the series, I'm surprised by how few continuity issues it seems to cause.
Anyway, the 2005 reboot starred Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor, and I actually feel that this was possibly my least favorite season of the new series. I think part of the issue might be the fact that the production team for this just hadn't quite figured out how to balance, the campy elements with plot-based elements.
Yeah, if something isn't careful when it comes to incorporating camp, it can end up being rather painful and unfunny.
One such example is how they present the Autons in the first episode. The Autons, or living plastic, have the potential to be pretty damn creepy, but for the most part they're presented in a very goofy light. What we end up with is an army of mannequins. Now, I'm not saying that this season was without good episodes. After all, we have The Empty Child.
How can you be ringing? What's that about, ringing? What am I supposed to do with a ringing phone?
That's actually hilarious.
Oh god! Those things in The Empty Child creep the fuck out of me.
Are you my mummy? I want my mummy. Are you my mummy? Are you my mummy? 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 Mummy?
Don't let him touch you.
What happens if they touch us?
You're looking at it.
Yeah, that was a 2-episode story written by Stephen Moffat. He's responsible for some of the darker and honestly better episodes of the series. But we also have the episode Dalek, which I thought was pretty good.
Okay, the Daleks always freak me out.
And the Doctor. Impossible.
Yeah, they finally conquer their mortal enemy in that episode. Stairs.
Yeah, the Daleks were well done and worked well as enemies, but I didn't really care for the Slovene that much. They're essentially large green aliens that hide themselves in human skin. And while there is an interesting idea hidden somewhere in that premise, it wasn't executed particularly well.
They could have been far more threatening than they were, but instead we get fat green aliens with baby-like faces.
There was an interesting back and forth that one of them had with the Doctor, but everything else that they were involved in felt really lackluster.
And look, I'm not trying to be overly hard on this show. I understand that missteps are almost inevitable in a project like this. And there are things that I believe they did well. Christopher Eccleston, one of the 3 Doctors that I'm particularly familiar with, is easily my least favorite. But that's not to say that he's bad.
He's an ugly man.
He looks like he just fell out of a tree. What are you trying to say?
I never had any problems with his physical appearance for the most part.
I feel that the Doctor should be a cut above the rest of us.
I don't know about that. There have been a number of Doctors who weren't visually gifted.
But he was ugly!
Come on, the 4th Doctor looked like an entire laundromat threw up a hairball filled with teeth, and he's often accepted as being the best Doctor.
Well, nothing's perfect. Have to take the rough with the smooth.
I've seen all the Doctors. Eccleston was ugly. No offense to him, he's a great actor, but he's ugly.
I think he did a good job as the Doctor. Unlike Caveman and Kora, I'm not particularly familiar with any of the other Doctors, but I do agree that this season didn't seem to be sure of where it wanted to go with the plot.
One of the elements about the 9th that did frustrate me was the fact that he comes off kind of as a bully.
Funny little human brains. How do you get around in those things?
He's the kind of character that is entertaining, but I would not want to know him firsthand. He's quick to pick on other characters, and sometimes there does feel like there's a bit of malice to it. And actually, I did not care for his outfit.
The way you guys are blending in with the local color, I mean, Fly Girl was bad enough, but U-Boat Captain?
It was bland.
I mean, this probably sounds like a rather petty complaint, but each incarnation of the Doctor tends to have a rather unique and distinctive style of dress. The 9th Doctor's approach is very unadorned, and it doesn't really leave much of an impact. I mean, if I pass someone on the street who's dressed as the 10th or 11th Doctors, I'll probably recognize them as such. If I pass someone dressed as the 9th Doctor, I'm more likely to think, oh, that person has clothes.
Let's talk about the Doctor's companions. He doesn't exactly have many at this point, but the companions are a necessary part of the show. Because of how whimsical and, well, alien the Doctor can be at points, the show often provides us with companions for the Doctor, who in turn serve as audience proxies.
Is it common for the companions to be as annoying as I found Rose to be?
Not necessarily. It really depends on both the Doctor and the companion and the chemistry they have on screen.
Yeah, I feel that Rose is actually a much stronger companion to the 10th Doctor than she is to the 9th.
I guess I can see that. At least she's better than Mickey.
You disappear? Who did I turn to? Your boyfriend. 5 times I was taken in for questioning, 5 times. No evidence, of course. They couldn't be good there.
I like Mickey!
I do too, but to be fair, he is the most annoying in the beginning. He gets much better, but he kind of sucks in the beginning.
Yeah.
I will concede, however, that Jack Harkness was awesome, though.
Now, hold on, ladies. I don't want to have to shoot either one of you.
But you're unarmed. You're naked. But that's a compact laser deluxe. Where were you hiding that?
You really don't want to know.
Jack is just
the bisexual American space captain from the future who can't.
Spoilers.
I love how Jack is introduced. He shows up in the episodes that Kora mentioned, The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. He brings a weird, self-assured smugness to the show that serves to make him endearing rather than annoying.
I kind of figured that.
in the new series, they tend to refer to certain little elements or hint at some details throughout each season, and it serves to come together into a story arc of sorts that is eventually resolved in the final episodes of said season. In the first season, we often see the term bad wolf get thrown about. And honestly, I'm not certain how I feel about the bad wolf story arc.
I do like how they only refer to it in a rather subtle manner. They don't beat us over the head with it.
But the way they brought it up at the end was just sort of jarring.
Well, look, let me say to the viewers that the bad wolf is essentially a deus ex machina. A character looks into the heart of the cards, decides that they reject reality as it is, and God comes out of the ark and kills everyone. Okay, to be fair, it's not a particularly bad example of this trope. In fact, I do sort of like how it was used, but some of the acting, scripting, and execution surrounding it were, in my opinion, rather questionable. In other words, there were some really good ideas there that just weren't used as effectively as they could have been.
Did any of you have an episode that you feel really stood out and deserves more attention?
You mean like the empty child and the doctor dances?
Well, aside from that.
Dalek was a really good episode. I think it did a good job imparting to a new generation of fans, such as myself, why these things are so terrifying, and are such a significant element of British pop culture. Apparently 9 out of 10 British children could identify a Dalek. I think that's actually a higher ratio than the number of American children who could identify America on a map.
Well, what about you? What was your favorite episode?
Well, based purely upon the quality of the sci-fi narrative, The Empty Child is probably the best one, but in terms of just enjoyment value and personal investment, my favorite was probably the finale with the game shows.
Actually, I think that the finale may have had the Ninth Doctor's strongest moments. But what did you guys think of Father's Day? That episode tells us what happens if you screw with time.
In 80s Britain, time breaks you.
The concept for that episode is essentially that a paradox is formed. I felt that the whole setup for that paradox felt a bit contrived. Rose essentially breaks one of the biggest rules of time travel, and honestly, you can see it coming a mile away.
I don't really think it was that contrived. I just felt it wasn't memorable.
We also have the second episode with the trampoline woman.
That was not that good. The episode is essentially the epitome of what I meant when I said that the first season was heavy on camp. I mean, we have a person who is a tree.
I'm waiting for the flaw here.
It just looked ridiculous. What's more, the tree person ends up in the superheated environment and bursts into flames. But the Doctor survives. Even the Doctor, resilient though he may be, shouldn't be able to endure that.
Shh! You're pointing out plot holes. Stop it.
Whatever. I didn't like that episode, The End of the World, that much, but I am glad that I stuck with the series a bit longer, because the first few episodes didn't exactly hook me.
Yeah, I suppose that there are a couple episodes in this that were just a bit
But I do like the show. I really do. The campy elements can be a tad grating at points, but it is successful in presenting the premise of the series to a new generation of sci-fi fans. The Ninth is by no means my favorite Doctor, but I assure you that merely is a testament to the strength of his competition. He has some good lines and good moments, and I don't mean to chip away at what was actually a rather solid performance. I have to give this a low abductive friend. That's 8 out of 10 from me.
Prior to watching this season, I had basically no exposure to Doctor Who. Initially, I will admit that I found some of the presentation to be confusing, though luckily I had these two walk me through the continuity. However, despite my lack of familiarity with the continuity, I still enjoyed this show. It had been a while since I saw really good science fiction that could be legitimately creepy. It tends to rely more on atmosphere than elements such as jump scares, but some of the characters felt bland, which had a proclivity to result in a lopsided execution. Overall, I felt that it was a bargain bin. That's 7 out of 10.
I really want to, once again, specify that we were only reviewing the first season currently. And there are a number of points where I feel the show was not living up to its potential. There are moments when I was really invested in the characters and plot, but there are also a number of points at which uneven scripting and acting left me feeling alienated. Still, you have those little moments where the Doctor is in the eye of the storm, and you're wondering if the aliens he's going up against are going to survive for even another 5 seconds because they're trapped in the same room as him. And that's what you want from the Doctor. So I'm going to give this a very low abduct a friend.
Now, with 2 abductor friends and 1 bargain bin, the average MediaWhorz rating is abductor friend. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right. Barcelona.